Hello, in this video we're going to be talking about getting started in O&P and other important details that you need to know. This video is intended for those who were not able to participate in either the Saturday afternoon session or the Saturday session or the Tuesday evening session, either in person or virtually. So this takes the place of the recording that was supposed to have happened while I was broadcasting. Of course it didn't, and so I am completely starting over. So this is your O&P getting started and other important details video. Okay, I'm going to be reading off of a form that's available, or it's a sheet that's available for you on the Canvas site. And let me show you where all of this information is housed. So if you go into Canvas and you select the Getting Started in O&P video for those who did not attend either Saturday or Tuesday, all of this information is provided for you. The document that I'm reading off of is right here. And then your placements are in these two files. This is information here specifically for those students who are in the Mukwonago school district. If we scroll down a little bit more, you'll see that there's a required attendance timesheet, a letter to your cooperating teacher with suggested activities, recommended activities, and a required cooperating teacher evaluation. So all of that information is right there for you. And like I said, I'm going to be starting and reading off of this document right here. So let's get started talking about your visits and all of that. The first thing that you should do is take a look at the placement documents. So pull up the copy of Mukwonago placements, and this is what it looks like here. You are able to look through here and see if you find your name. And so for example, if you're Chelsea, this is your major, this is your cooperating teacher, this is where that teacher is located in Mukwonago, and this is the phone number and the email. We'll use those in just a minute. So why don't you go ahead and pause the video, look for those two files. Again, they are located right here, Lake Geneva and Deerfield placements and Mukwonago placements. So go ahead, grab those, find yourself, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that you know where you're going to be placed, the name of your cooperating teacher and all of that important information, what you would like, sorry, I got sidetracked. I've still got email coming in. Anyways, the first thing that you should do is contact your cooperating teacher to arrange your first visit. So the email is provided for you, and you want to make sure that you are contacting them by email. Don't give them a phone call the first time through. But when you make your first contact, you should have an idea of the dates and times you think that are going to work best for you. You may need to be flexible with that though, but have a general idea of when you'd like to start, days of the week, and times, so on and so forth, and include that in your email. So you should contact your cooperating teacher as soon as possible to begin this process, no matter if you're planning on starting in the next week or to 10 days, or if it's going to be a couple of weeks before you're able to get started. This will, if you're not going to get started right away, this will let them know that you are definitely intending to work with them. If they don't hear from you for a couple of weeks, they may think that you're no longer interested and go about their life. And then if all of a sudden you email them, they will be surprised, and just don't let that happen. So contact your cooperating teacher right away. Thank them for agreeing to be your cooperating teacher, and indicate some potential dates and times that you would like to visit the school, and see if that will be mutually convenient for them. I provided sample text for this email in one of the previous videos. Please refer back to that. Your email should be professionally formatted, professionally worded, and yeah. So schedule your visits. You're able to self-schedule your OMP visits. A reminder, you must achieve a total of 50 hours. And you can include your after-school events, meetings, extracurricular activities, and all of that. I know some of you are interested in attending athletic events and coaching. So those can count to a degree. I really don't want you to spend more than 5 hours observing coaching in an athletic event or that sort of a thing, but do please participate in some of those activities if you get the chance. Your OMP must be concluded by the end of classes, and you'll need to submit a timesheet and a teacher evaluation in order to document successful completion. I'll provide information on that in a few minutes. And there will be a video that you need to do while you are in your OMP. This is where you will be recording some sort of instruction that you're doing with students, and this will be required on May 2nd. Your OMP hours do not need to be completed by that time. There will, of course, be much more information on that video yet to come. About the length and duration of your OMP visits, I'm right up here. At least a couple of your visits should be at least a half a day or a full day in length. If you're just going 1 or 2 hours here and there, you're not going to get an idea of the overall flow of the teacher's day and how things work in the classroom throughout an entire day. So you really do need to have at least a couple of days where it's, full half day, full day. Do your very best to get those scheduled in. And you'll really be missing out if you only go a couple of hours here and there. Now, before your first visit, right here, you want to Google your assigned school and the school district that it's in. You want to learn as much as you can about the district and the school. Take a look at even what newspaper headlines might be available online. So you're going to want to try and figure out what the bell schedule is so you know what time school starts and ends. Try and find out about what extracurricular, if any, activities might be provided. Use Google Maps and put it in satellite view so you can see where any parking lots might be. You're really on your own to figure out, how to get there, how to park, all of that sort of thing. So I encourage you to research your school as much as possible. A note about researching the school, the district, and the community, all of that is going to be involved with the context of learning activity that's required for this course and for the portfolio. And I'm going to have it be your midterm, and that will all be included on there. So if you start doing some of this research now, you'll have a leg up for that assignment, and information on that's forthcoming. So your first visit, you want to make sure that you have scheduled your drive time so that you're arriving a few minutes earlier than you're intending to meet with your cooperating teacher. It's probably going to take a few minutes to get from your car into the office through whatever procedures you need to go through in order to be given access to the school. And it might take a little while for you to find the room as well. So plan to arrive early. You enter through the main doors and then go to the school's office. Follow any visitor procedures. And this is where in Mukwonago, you are required to bring your driver's license or your state ID with you. Many schools do require this in order to be allowed in the schools, but Mukwonago for certain requires this. So make sure you have your driver's license with you if you are assigned to the Mukwonago Area School District. While you are preparing to attend on your first day, you should print out the letter to the cooperating teacher and recommended activities. Again, those are right here. Letter to cooperating teacher with suggested activities and recommended activities. Those are right there. You want to print those out and give them to your cooperating teacher. The recommended activities list provides some ideas and suggestions for what you might do during your OMP hours. Another reminder that you need to dress professionally. Business casual. This involves dress pants and collared shirt for guys, professional shoes, dress shoes. Make sure they're comfortable, but you shouldn't be wearing your gym shoes, tennis shoes, or whatever you're calling them. You should have dress shoes. In addition, for the women or those identifying as female, you want to make sure that you're, dressed appropriately. Dress pants, skirts, dress, that sort of a thing. A reminder, if you're wearing leggings, make sure there's a tunic or a long cardigan over it that goes at least to your lower mid-thigh. Nothing shorter than that. If it's shorter than that, you're essentially wearing a mini skirt, and that's a big fat no. So, you want to make sure that whatever you're wearing, you're covered. Nothing is see-through, nothing is showing, nothing is tight, nothing's going to fall off. There's going to be no wardrobe malfunctions. Do your check in the mirror before you go. Make sure you look amazing. So, first day should be about dressing to impress. Once you're there, ask your cooperating teacher for tips and suggestions on how to conform to any specifics in the school's dress code. Now, it may happen that during your O&P, you may have to be absent. Now, with O&P, you do not want to be absent unless it's a very serious situation. So this would be an illness, an emergency, that sort of a thing. And so if you have to be absent, make sure you email your cooperating teacher as soon as possible, and make sure that you CC me, your instructor. It's kinge@uww.edu as well. This is because sometimes teachers may not see the email that you send. They get a lot of email, and so your cooperating teacher may not see it. And so that could lead to, an assumption that, you didn't call in before you weren't, or didn't notify them before your absence. And this way I will have a record of it, and I will know what's going on, and I can have your back. If there is bad weather, and it's certainly still possible because we're only at the beginning of March. So if the school is closed for weather, or even, if they have lockdown due to safety issues or things like that, you do not have to make up the time. So if the school is officially closed and you were scheduled to go for that day, you do not have to make up that time. If the weather is bad, though, and the school's not closed, and you make the judgment that you don't believe that it's safe for you to drive that distance, that's fine. I want you to know that we really support you in making that decision. Just please try to make up that time, and make sure that you alert your cooperating teacher before the start of the school day that you're not going to be making the drive. There are some required things that you need to submit, documenting your successful completion of O&P. And this is in the required paperwork section, and you will find these forms right here, which is the required attendance timesheet and the required cooperating teacher evaluation. So, the required attendance timesheet, have your teacher sign it at each visit if you're able. If they're busy and they can't sign when you're leaving or whatever, have them sign when you get back. You need to just make sure that your time adds up to at least 50 hours. Now, when you've completed your O&P, you will need to scan this document and upload it to Canvas. There will be a designated spot. Make sure you keep the hard copy and the digital files for your records, just in case somehow it doesn't get reported to the Office of Field Experience. And then your required cooperating teacher evaluation. As I said, this is provided for you in the documents, but you want to provide a copy of this to your teacher, give a copy to your teacher and collect it when you've completed your O&P. As I said, scan and submit to Canvas. What I really do suggest, though, is don't give this to your cooperating teacher on the first day. Hold on to it for a while until you're, about half done or so. Then give it to them and request that it be completed. And the reason for that is that oftentimes they're lost or forgotten if you do it any earlier. So if you do it earlier, you may be going back and printing another copy and giving it to them. But anyways, you want to make sure that this is, again, scanned, uploaded to Canvas, and keep that record keep the hard copy for your records. Now, there will be required course assignments connected to OMP. So there are a number of topics that I've already listed, and I will assign you to engage with during your OMP. So on Canvas, there will be learning materials to help you develop background understandings, and then you will need to explore these topics in greater depth while you're at OMP. Now, based upon conversations that I had with your classmates who participated in either the on-campus or the virtual meetings, I have found that there is a lot of interest in coming to campus and having discussions on campus or participating virtually as well. So I am going to require reflection activities for the topics that I'm assigning, but you can complete these in a variety of ways. So I will be holding bi-weekly on-campus and virtual class meetings for discussions, and this will count as your reflection as long as you actually participate with substantive comments and you show evidence of having engaged with the learning materials prior to the discussion. You can also submit a written reflection following the instructions that will be provided on Canvas. And these will be in writing, and they will be on Canvas. So I'm going to open these a little bit at a time on Canvas, meaning you're not going to be able to see all of these at one time, because I don't want you to just work through things and to get them done. I want you to work on them, think about them, and then write the reflection and or participate in the face-to-face or virtual reflection/discussion times that I will be providing. Now, what I've agreed upon is that we will have a Tuesday night on campus and virtual meeting that will be from 4:30 until 6. You're welcome to attend. It's not required, but you're welcome to. And I will also have a Thursday afternoon session. This will be from 1 until 2:30. And so you may participate. You can choose not to. It's up to you. But those will be available to you on a bi-weekly basis. So I also need to let you know that there will be another requirement. It's a video of your instruction. So a requirement for this course and the portfolio, I count it for both, is that you work with your cooperating teacher and plan a time when you will take responsibility for planning and doing some sort of instruction. So this is pretty open-ended. By instruction, that does not mean that you have to teach an entire class. So you can do any range of things as long as you're planning some sort of a learning experience or activity with students. This can be one or more students, and that you are actually by yourself doing some sort of instruction. So this should not be when you're team teaching with your cooperating teacher. So some of the things you can do would be like leading a small group discussion, providing one-on-one instrument instruction, leading a small group, doing small group tutoring, having a short lesson that you're doing with a group of students, a demo. But if you feel you're ready to teach a short lesson or even teach a whole class period, whatever works for you and your cooperating teacher is fine. If you have questions about what you're thinking and if it will be okay, please let me know. But again, I'm going to repeat, What you need to be able to do for this is you need to be able to plan for some sort of instruction. It needs to be with at least one student, and you need to do it yourself. You need to implement the instruction and record what you're doing. Now there will be a video on how to take the video, but that part of it will also be instructed for you. So more information is going to be provided, and it should not be done until you've completed approximately 20 or more hours of your O&P visits. There are some pretty specific guidelines for how I want you to do this, and you're going to be required to have parental permission for including children, the minors, in your recording. So please do not even think about please do not start this until you have the full set of instructions. I will be circulating a Google form for you to indicate if you've received the packet of permission slips yet, and if you haven't, what address we should mail them to you. And I'm going to caution again, please do not start this until you've received the entire set of instructions. So that concludes the overview. Again, I'm going to direct you to the materials that are in our Canvas and the Getting Started in O&P. Everything that I went through here, with the exception of everything that I went through already, is provided here. And I encourage you to use these documents, follow up with the documents. And now, for those of you who are in Mukwonago, I need to go through some specific information with you. The rest of you may exit, close the video, you're good to go. But if you are one of the people who's placed in Mukwonago, please stay with me. So for Mukwonago, that's not what I wanted to do. Let me go back. Okay, so for Mukwonago, there are some specific instructions for you to follow. So just like I said previously, you want to make sure that you email your cooperating teacher. They've been provided the basic information about O&P, but I believe this is their first time working with UW-Whitewater and with our O&P program. So you may need to explain a little bit about, it's going to be 50 hours. Make sure you have the suggested or recommended activities sheet so you can talk to your cooperating teacher about that. Now, what's different about Mukwonago is that there's this TB screening sheet, and this has to be returned to Alice Schwartz prior to your being allowed to start in the school. So the TB screening sheet, those are also located here, right here, screen instructions and the risk assessment questionnaire. Okay, there's a separate set of our separate form that gives you some instructions about the TB risk assessment questionnaire, but I'm going to walk through it with you right now. So if you are at Mukwonago, as I keep saying, you need to complete this form. You do not need to get a TB test right now. This is a screening tool to see if you may need to get a TB test. And this needs to be printed, signed, and submitted to Alice Schwartz. I provided the email for you. I gave you this information previously. I sent an email directly to every single one of you who are assigned to Mukwonago. So hopefully you started this process. But anyways, here's what you need to do. So I'm going to walk through this with you. And this is it. So if you check any of these boxes, a next step may be required. So what they're asking you to do is do not check anything unless these situations pertain to you. So you only check this first box right here if there was birth, travel, or residence in a country with high TB prevalence. This includes any country other than the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or a country in Western or Northern Europe. So if you were born in the United States, you wouldn't check this. If you were born in Canada, you wouldn't check this. All right. If you traveled for an extended duration with infectious TB, or in a place where you came in contact with infectious TB, then you would check this. So, have you had close contact to somebody with infectious TB during your lifetime? If you have not been around somebody with infectious TB, do not check this box. If you have had recent TB symptoms not associated with a cold, with the flu, that would be a persistent cough lasting 3 or more weeks and 1 or more of the following symptoms. If you have not had that, you do not check this box. So, are you a current or former employee or resident of a high-risk congregate setting in a state or district with an elevated TB rate? So this would be, are you a former resident of Alaska, California, Florida, Hawaii, New Jersey, New York, Texas, or Washington, D.C.? If you are not, do not check the box. If you have been incarcerated or in a long-term residential care facility or shelter for the homeless, then you would check this box. But if you have not been in any of these, you would not check the box. All right. So that is the end of the screening. You come down to this section here where there's the 2 boxes, and you print your name right here. You are the patient, not the screener. You're the patient. You sign in here your signature, and then you put your date of birth. Not today's date, but your date of birth. And if you have any need for clarification on travel, for example, birth, travel, or residence in a country with high TB incident or burden, talks about it here. This would be, there are 40 high burden TB countries, including India, China, regions of, there you go. So there's a little bit more information. So if you have questions, that should be able to clarify it for you. All right. Also, those of you who are in Mukwonago, they're very concerned about the dress code. So I'm trying to grab the Mukwonago instructions, and I believe they're right here. There we go. Mukwonago information about your placement. So they are very concerned about your attire. So the principal has said right away, students must dress nicely, business or business casual. Once on site, they should talk to their teacher about what's appropriate for the classes they're working with. So please make sure that you pay particular attention to being dressed professionally. You can go in business attire and business casual attire. In addition, remember that Mukwonago is the school where you need to make sure that you have your driver's license. It's required of all visitors as a security measure. You're going to be given a visitor lanyard, and you're going to need to wear that while you are on the premises. So that concludes our instructional video. So if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or anything like that, please make sure that you send me an email. I'll be more than happy to talk with you further. And I look forward to hearing about your wonderful adventures on O&P.